posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says justice on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo with James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jack. Oh wait, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Antonio Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't. But Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh, but
actually, hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. I'm trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay. Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking.
We actually follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't look at that stuff. It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got go so fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Prettier.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
What?
This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest. You almost didn't.
Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right. Next up.
Unbelievable. 5 head.
Next up, we have.
Why people happy? Pagu. Weird champ. Weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad? What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay. Why do people happy? KW, LOLW, XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. We were backstage.
Okay.
They're just like,
Okay.
yo, it's not gonna be a triple. It's not gonna be a
No,
normal.
dude, we're gonna do a fatal four-way poggers, bro. Thanks for the fucking
God,
bits.
Fuck, damn it! Jump off a roof.
Well, they just lost Gunther, so I don't know how that is gonna survive, but
Make sure it's capturing the right audio on Discord. It is. It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It is time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. It is just me and Christian today. I am the Outlaw. That is the Goon Christian. Mike is at work, so he gets a pass again. And yeah, so kick us off with some news because it's been a long night.
Yep. So just starting off with some of the news here. We have some unfortunate injury updates to start off with. Multiple. First off, we're gonna start off with Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs, he is going to be on the shelf for a very long time. Obviously, he got hurt in that match against Moxley last week on Dynamite, which was very apparent. But the severity of the injury has been confirmed that he will require surgery. He is going to be out for a very long time. If I have to take we don't know the exact injury, but if I have to take a guess, it looks like either torn MCL, ACL, or meniscus, one of the three, or multiple of them. But that sucks. Well wishes to Powerhouse Hobbs. I hope he gets well soon. You hate to see that happen.
This does help into the story of the Don Callis family, of him now being gone, and that family's going to start falling apart.
Well, I don't think they were ever going to fall apart, but I thought they were going to like split and there was going to be new members.
I think it's going to start to fall apart from the members we have.
Well,
that's what's going to happen.
Well, I don't think it's going to fall apart because Ospreay. I mean, they've already been teasing it, but I think Ospreay is just going to take Kyle and that's it. But there was going to be Takeshita and Hobbs anyway, and then they would get a third.
Trent,
and then probably Trent, and then the Davis would come back. But now that needs to be changed. But besides that, we also have Julia Hart. It's been said that she has also been injured, which she was injured going into the pay-per-view. But she will also be I don't know if this has been confirmed, but they've been said she might need surgery on her shoulder. So Julia should be missing a substantial amount of time, so get well soon to her.
Yes.
And when it comes to AEW, it's like they have so many guys out, but the roster's so deep that you kind of just sometimes you don't notice it. But these two, they should be back in a big way when they come back. So get well soon to both Julia and Hobbs. Also in injury news, when it comes to the best of the Super Juniors and New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ryusuke Taguchi, who's basically been in the best of the Super Juniors for the last 2 decades, is going to miss it this year because he was injured, and he's going to be replaced by Dragon Dia, from who actually I've never seen before, which I'm very excited about. From Dragon Gate, he's going to be replacing Taguchi in the tournament. But Ryusuke Taguchi, he did not get injured in the ring. He did not get injured in like a shoot fight. Ryusuke Taguchi got hurt riding his bike. He fell off his bike because a dog attacked him while he was riding his bike. He fell off his bike. He got concussed. He's got like a half bloodshot eye. He has like black eyes. His face is all swollen. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? I mean, that's like... I mean, when you talk about freak injuries, I mean, there you go. But he's all fucked up. He posted a picture of himself and his face. I mean, Jesus Christ. This was a bad fall. He fell right on his head. So get well soon to Ryusuke Taguchi.
Yes.
Because that was a fucked up story. And that sucks. He has to miss probably the biggest tournament year round for him. Also, we also had a report about Camille Brickhouse from the NWA, and her signing about back in like January. There was reports saying that she signed an NXT contract, but those were shot down by people within NXT. And I even before those were shot down, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. They've been pursuing her for a while. If back when she was in the NWA, and back when even dating back to the first All In, and even before that, she was the manager of Nick Aldis, who is now the GM of SmackDown on WWE. But she has been the longest reigning NWA women's world champion in NWA for a while now. But she did lose the title not too long ago.
Yeah.
So everyone was wondering where she would land. But we now know where she landed, and she has signed with AEW. Tony was asked about it on a fucking interview, and he was very coy about it. Obviously, he didn't want to say anything because they haven't debuted her on TV yet. But all signs appear to have been confirmed that Camille Brickhouse is now All Elite, which is a very good pickup for AEW. She's very good in the ring. She's still somewhat new, but she's not really new. She's not really new, but she's like been around enough that she really knows what she's doing. If I could compare her to anybody, because I've only seen her work a handful of times, but I have always paid attention to her and kept up with what she was doing because I knew she was going to land somewhere big. The best way I could describe her build wise, what she looks like, she's very muscular. She looks like the white kind of version of Jade Cargill. But in the ring she's a lot more polished, and she's a lot better in the ring. She's like Jade, but if she was better as a worker. So we'll see when she shows up on AEW. They also have Megan Bayne in the tank, who they signed like like almost a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years now, before she blew her ACL, and they sent her over to Stardom to basically have an excursion, and she still hasn't showed up on AEW. And I remember 2 years ago sitting on this podcast because I was extremely high on Megan Bayne. I always thought when I would watch Dark, I would have these feelings about some of these guys, and I'd be like, this person's different, or they're being presented in a different way, and it's like I think they're going to be something one day. And I always joked about I should be a scouter because I got most of them right, like Red Velvet, Toa Leona, Willow Nightingale, Megan Bayne, Powerhouse Hobbs. Those were some of the few that I was like, I feel a certain way about these guys. But yeah, that's confirmed now. So we'll see when she finally shows up on television. And basically, the main story this week was the NFL draft, which was last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the story was after the angle that happened on
Khan better be selling.
on last week's Dynamite. Everyone was wondering, is Tony Khan going to wear a neck brace at the NFL draft? And let alone he did. He did keep kayfabe. When the Jacksonville Jaguars made their select, it was actually really perfect because you had a bunch of wrestling fans. I mean, I'm an NFL fan, but you had a bunch of wrestling fans who don't watch football watching the NFL draft, watching for Tony Khan to see if he was in a neck brace. And the best thing about it was they traded back the Jacksonville Jaguars in the draft. They traded back. I forgot with who, but they traded back like 5 or 6 spots. And so it's like kind of like tease. It was kind of like a fucking tease. But then when they made their selection of Brian Thomas Jr., LSU wide receiver, they showed Tony Khan in the draft room next to Shad. He had the neck brace on. Rich Eisen was talking about it. They were talking how this is the first time ever that a person or an NFL like a team employee is selling the effects of a pile driver on the on the fucking draft broadcast that he took the night before. So it was really cool because Rich Eisen, he's a pro wrestling fan. He's had Cody on to promote AEW before even AEW had TV. He also just had Cody on before he finished the story. He's had a bunch of AEW guys on promoting AEW, Rampage,
He also
Collision,
says some
Dynamite.
stupid ass shit on that.
Yeah,
on that interview.
he said AEW is like the Pepsi of pro wrestling and WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling, which got a rise at the out of the anchors. But here's the thing about that. I mean, it's somewhat true because of the Vince shit. I mean, if Vince was if like Vince was still there and he said that, it would be like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously, which
also,
it still kind of is. There's still a lot of people working there that are involved in that. But should he have said it? Probably not. But do I really care? No. Like I watch both products. I don't really fucking care. And like it got a rise out of people online because you know it was going to, and it was what it was. This isn't new. It's like, what do you want him to do? It got so much attention that I've never seen in a tribalist world that we live in when it comes to pro wrestling on the internet. I've never seen more union than when everyone was like, oh shit, Tony's wearing the neck brace on the draft. That's pretty fucking cool. That was the most union I've seen in a while. And then 24 hours later, it was fucking gone. And we're back to fighting. But you know what? You can't, I mean, whatever. I mean, he's going to say what he wants to say. Is there dashes of truth to it? Obviously, yes.
also,
Should he say that shit on like every fucking interview he does? No. But whatever at this point.
AEW should also put a mirror to themselves because back in 2019, late 2019, going into the pandemic, half our roster was on that Me Too list.
Yeah, well, that was every fucking roster. That's not the company. That's talent.
Well, like it was a majority of the talent that was brought up was AEW.
Yeah, but that's but what I'm saying is that's talent. That's not the company. WWE was a fucking fundamental fucking sex trafficking ring within the company. It was a company cover up. If you sign somebody and they say, "Oh shit, they did some bad shit," that's like you fire the guy and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the company's fucking doing nothing. Like the company's not fucked up. But yeah, it's like WWE. Obviously, they have to sort that shit out because that's a fucking disgusting situation. Because that goes down to corporate, and that has nothing to do with fucking the on-screen product that you see. That's how bad it is.
Vince sold the last of his shares, and Nick Khan has reportedly sold all of his shares.
Well, Nick Khan, that means nothing. That's a whole big can of nothing. That's just a businessman in his stature. They do that shit. That's been confirmed. That's been confirmed by Sean and everybody and financial people I've talked to.
And then
that's a whole big can of nothing.
And then also Def Rebels in the news for being assholes to a limo driver.
That is also a big can of nothing. Because that guy hasn't been with Def Rebel for years.
Really? Okay.
And people were just posting it because it was a hot topic and they thought he was a part of Def Rebel, which he was, but he hasn't been with them for years, and they have nothing to do with WWE. So that was already squashed. But besides that, it was a big time success. That angle, and the coverage. AEW got a lot of coverage during the weekend when it came to Tony and the neck brace on the NFL draft, even from people curious. There was NFL articles talking about Kazuchika Okada. I thought I would smoke crack cocaine by accident. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Tony even said he's going to sign the neck brace and auction it off for Rich Eisen's charity. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's not the last of Tony Khan you'd see in the neck brace because we saw him again tonight. But yeah, it did really well for AEW and hey, go. I mean, that was great publicity for the product when it comes to your top angle in the company. So that was pretty cool to see.
Thank you for the comment saying fun stream, guys. Appreciate it. I guess the last bit of news is a signing or a re-signing of a contract. We had the long-awaited news break that Drew McIntyre has now signed a new deal to WWE. He
Yeah.
was gifted a sword by The Rock.
Which it's like, I mean, it's
It-
obviously, I mean,
yeah.
this had to happen. Literally, it's like, even when we were talking about this, like the possibility of him leaving, like I never believed. I was like, there's no way. And even as a personal thing, it's like there's no way he should leave. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him as a talent. It wouldn't make sense for him business wise, because obviously he wants to be closer with his family. But under this new regime in WWE, there's absolutely a way him to be compensated for it. There's absolutely a way for him to achieve that, and for them to be able to like give him a deal that's friendly towards him, because he's doing the best work of his career right now.
Yeah.
He's got a ready-made program already going with CM Punk. He had the world title. Obviously, what happened at Mania, but he's obviously going to get that title again. They have a pay-per-view in Glasgow, Scotland, for Christ's sake. It's like, it would have been stupid if he left.
So
And I was such a big proponent of him staying, because there's no reason he needs to be leaving when he's doing the best work of his career right now.
I had thought, and I had originally stated this when we talked about it, when he didn't get a new contract, it was that they could have him sign an extension up until the end of the CM Punk feud, and then if he wants to go free, he can go free. I think that was like my initial idea, but after what I'm seeing, like,
that would have been such bad business by them. Like, you can't even fucking stop playing around with a guy like that and risking that shit.
100%.
You can't even do that. I mean, God forbid Drew left and say he went to AEW. I don't think there would be any other destination that he would really go to, realistically.
Mhm.
But like, if he went to, that would have been a big time loss for WWE. Which, I mean, and that would have been unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because obviously they have the money to compensate him. They have Roman Reigns and Cena, like, they all got not even Cena, but like Roman had the concept, like, he could come and go as he pleases.
Mhm.
Drew's not gonna be like that, but like Drew is like, you could give Drew a fucking month or 3 weeks to a month off to go see his family. So it was good. I'm glad they got that done. I'm really glad they got that done. And yeah, I'm happy for Drew. That guy has been busting his ass for way too long, and he finally got compensated for it. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
But that was really all there is in terms of the news cycle right now. But, yep.
I'm just gonna double check real quick if I had anything. And that's no, I didn't have anything to follow up with. All right. So there was a Dynamite and a Rampage tonight.
Yes, sir.
3-hour Dynamite, pretty much. In retrospect, we kick off.
Which we've been having a lot of these lately because of this fuck ass basketball game.
We kick off tonight's Dynamite with Tony Khan via satellite saying, "I'll be running the show right here from Jacksonville." Then it goes to static. It goes to the bars and tones, and the Bucks appear. Our EVPs go, "All right, so we're gonna let Tony just rest. We're gonna take over. Let's run the new video package, the new intro, and it's the entire elite."
Well, hold on, bump the brakes, because there was something extremely important that the Bucks detailed here, that we have to talk about. Is because the one thing they needed to clear up from that angle is, why can't Tony, if Tony fired Punk after what he did, why can't Tony fire the Bucks after what the fuck they just happened?
Right.
What just happened? So the Bucks said, "Well, don't you think there's gonna be like some sort of action taken against us?" But hey, 2 words: ironclad. So they have an ironclad contract and a founder's clause in their contracts that prevent them from being fired. So and obviously they can explain away that they hand that down to Jack and Okada, but yeah, that completely cleared that up. So that was one plot hole filled. That they need. That was one question they needed to answer, and they did right off the bat. So I'm glad they did that. But then they showed the new video package where it's just clips of Jack, Okada, and the Bucks. I'm like, bro, these brothers, they're fucking living the gimmick. I love this. This was fantastic.
So good, perfect, everything down to those details. And then
But yeah,
we open up
but
with Swerve saying who
Swerve
he's gonna
Strickland.
fight.
Yeah, Swerve Strickland comes out. He comes and says, "Hey, he said he cut a promo on Collision talking about how what the EVPs did was a bitch move, which led me to think, all right, maybe they're gonna have Jack and Swerve ready, but I'm like, they can wait to do that. I think it would, like I always thought like it makes sense, but I feel like it would be too quick. But Swerve is like he still reiterates that it was a bitch move. He didn't like what they did. And then the Bucks appear on the Titantron and said, "Hey, Swerve, listen, we haven't really been feeling you as champion. It hasn't really hit yet. But there's a guy we haven't seen from this country from a very long time, and he's right at the GOAT position. We're gonna send him out right now." So they try to make you think it was Kenny, because obviously they've been promoting Kenny's return all night.
Yeah.
But out comes the Patriarchy and Christian Cage, Christian,
like,
Mother
oh,
Wayne,
no.
Nick Wayne, and Killswitch, and here comes Christian, and it's like, oh shit, because he missed the whole pay-per-view cycle off TV, which was fine because of the story.
Does Swerve
but
still have his parents?
I believe so.
Okay.
But he is a father himself.
Yeah, it's now just gonna be I'm going to kill you and make your
Oh
children.
yeah, I'm about to say he then fucking by the time Nick Wayne has a daughter, they could feud with Swerve's daughters. But anyway, fucking Christian gets in the ring, he grabs the microphone before he can even say something, he fucking all this jabbing people in the fucking
Jabs
head,
him in the head.
and the stomach with a goddamn microphone. This is 2 weeks in a row this happened. But no, he jabs him right in the chin with the microphone. He puts him down. They start beating down on him and Nana. They put him down, and then Christian basically says,
You thought I forgot what you did to my son?
You thought I forgot what you did to Nick. Obviously, it was a callback to when Swerve and AR Fox and Nana, they bloodied up Nick in his own house, in his own train, in his garage, and the Wayne Academy, where he bloodied him up. And what he did at Wembley, where Swerve lost the match at Wembley to Darby in the casket match. So there was that. Because obviously they were tag team partners that night on the biggest show in AEW history.
We forgot to mention in the news, Darby Allin got hit by a bus.
Oh, well, see how we forget to mention that? Because it's just fucking Tuesday for Darby Allin. I mean, when that shit came out, it was like, Darby.
I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? It literally, it was literally 2 a.m. and I sent them and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Darby. And he's got his nose all bashed up. His nose is all bashed up. He's in a fucking he's in fucking Radio City Music Hall seeing a play or Broadway, whatever. And he's sitting there. I'm like, with a broken foot. I'm like, I mean, what? If this guy gets struck by lightning, I would be surprised.
So the person he was on Broadway with was the person he saved from being hit by the bus. He had pulled him out of the way. Darby took the brunt.
That guy had mad Twitter followers. So that might have been a fucking very convenient thing.
And then also,
Instagram followers.
Also, Brody King says he was driving the bus and Darby shouldn't have been standing there.
That would have been something else. Well, Brody King does have a tattoo that says, "Here lies Darby Allin." So you might as well, if anybody's gonna kill Darby Allin, it might as well be Brody King. But yeah, Darby. If this guy gets struck by lightning or survives a shark attack or fucking, I don't know. I have no clue.
He's also gearing up for 2025 next year.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I mean, this guy. I mean, I really don't. I mean, it's like I'm not really surprised at this point. I swear to God, if we hear word that this guy gets struck by lightning and he survives. It's like, well, it's Darby.
See,
It's Wednesday.
At this point, I am now fully convinced he's going to die in next year climbing Mount Everest.
No, I don't see. I think it's the opposite. Now, to me, it's like, all right, he's gonna be fine. He got hit by a bus. He's got a broken foot. I've seen him do death-defying shit in AEW. He's climbing a fucking mountain. What the hell's a fucking Mount Everest climb to the shit he's already done? He's gonna be fine. God damn it.
So, this pretty much now is just, it sets up.
Just before I forgot to mention this signing. Eric Rowan is headed back to WWE. That's the one I forgot to mention as well. I'm very happy for him too. But Christian mentions all that. He mentions that his daughter's not even gonna recognize him when he's finished with him
Because
his
new dad.
and because she's gonna have a new father. Swerve has two girls. I think they're like 13, 14 years old. Like when he would post about them on Instagram. So they're a little on the older side. So I don't know if they're even gonna get involved in this angle.
God, I hope they do.
That was a very good. I did not expect this at all. I did not expect. It's gonna be Swerve and Christian at Double or Nothing for the title. I think that's an excellent first opponent for Swerve.
Oh yes,
Could be. I mean, easily beatable. Christian's not gonna lose anything. He had a long reign with the TNT title. So it makes sense for him to challenge for the world title. And it's a great first opponent for Swerve. And it makes sense. They have history together from Wembley. Him and Nick Wayne obviously have had history together dating back to the Washington indie scene and Seattle indie scene and Defy Wrestling, and obviously the shit that they did, that the feud that Swerve and Nick had last year. So yeah, this is a win-win for everybody involved here. So very excited to see where this feud goes. After this, we had a TNT title match, Cope Open, between a member of the House of Black versus Adam Copeland. We didn't know who the member of the House of Black was. I always assumed it was going to be Buddy, because it probably is going to end up being Buddy, Brody, Malachi at the pay-per-view, and I was correct here. We got Buddy Matthews versus Adam Copeland in a 20-minute fucking great match. They got a lot of time, obviously, because they had a 3-hour block. They didn't really have to worry about time here. But yeah, they had a great 20-minute match. I've always said the most underrated guy in wrestling is Buddy Matthews. And he goes out there and proves it every night that he has an in-ring match, basically one-on-one. But this was Buddy's get back at Adam Copeland for indoctrinating his fucking fiance into the cult, Judgment Day, which that did happen. So I mean, good minds attract each other, I guess, because both of them are. I mean, Judgment Day is kind of like a gang, not a cult anymore. But when it started, it was kind of a cult. I mean,
it was Discount House of Black. It was a joke.
I mean, House of Black isn't really a cult. It's kind of just like a bunch of fucking. It's about like four friends that like, hey, we like some fucking cryptids and shit. They watch too much fucking Wendigoon or whatever. But Malachi, he's obviously going to be challenging Copeland for the TNT title at Double or Nothing. But this was a great match here. I love what they sold in this match, where Buddy was selling his they did a spot where they both collided with cross bodies in the ring, and Buddy's mouth ended up bleeding. And as soon as they went to picture-in-picture, and because they've done this before, where they've done like had the doctor come in during picture-in-picture, so they didn't have to wrestle, where it was like they could like nobody would miss anything during the picture-in-picture break. They've done that before when it came to longer matches. Like I remember the Hangman Danielson one. They would have like Hangman being checked out during the picture-in-picture, so they would have to nothing would be missed. But I love that how Buddy was like bleeding out the mouth from that. He was selling his stomach because it was going to sell the spear, because obviously the spear is going to target your midsection.
Yeah.
But they went back and forth. This was an excellent match. Copeland beat him with a spear. Great stuff here from him and Buddy. After the match, Copeland was getting really riled up, and he got 2 chairs, and he was going to hit Buddy with the concerto, but then the lights go out. Here's Malachi. Malachi stands there and he doesn't stop Copeland. He tells him to do it. Then Buddy gets on his knees, and he tells Malachi to hit him. He tells Copeland to hit him in the head. But then Copeland goes to do it. Then the lights go out, and then they're gone. It's really feeding. They want him to give in to their mystical shit.
I am praying that Double or Nothing, Copeland drops it to Malachi.
Well, that's what I believe is happening.
And then also, maybe, just for Malachi, we get a personally designed TNT title.
I mean, I don't think it would be personally designed. I think it would be what the trios one was, where it would just be a silver plate.
Like, kind of like it's...
Yeah. I think it'd just be a silver plate.
Yeah. All right. After this, did we go into?
Yeah. So yeah, that should be built up. They announced afterwards that it's going to be Brody King versus Adam Copeland for the TNT title next week. So as expected, he's gonna run it. He's gonna run through the House of Black before he gets to Malachi at the pay-per-view. But yeah, after this we had Isaiah Cassidy and Samoa Joe. And Isaiah has been spouting off all day on fucking socials saying, hey, he's going to rip Samoa Joe. The guy's finished tonight, and it didn't work out well for him tonight. But Joe, this was basically a funny squash. Joe beat the shit out of him. Muscle Buster, 1, 2, 3, that was it. But what this felt like is that Joe's going babyface again. Because he got a really big time babyface reaction. Obviously, everybody loves Joe. Regardless of what Joe does, he's going to get cheered unless he's feuding with a babyface. But Joe really got a babyface reaction. So it makes me think that they're going to go back to Joe being a babyface, which he hasn't been for... I don't think he's been a babyface for a while. Like, he hasn't... I think it was since before the MJF feud, like the first one, before Grand Slam. So he hasn't been a babyface for a while, so I think it's fine to go back. After this, we had Orange Cassidy come out to cut a promo. And he's talking about Trent and the aftermath of the parking lot brawl. And he says on the mic that, unfortunately, Chuck Taylor has basically been said he can never wrestle again. That's kayfabe, I believe. I haven't seen anything saying otherwise where said, I mean, obviously Chuck was for real injured, but I don't think they would have let him work the match if that injury was... But they did shoot an angle during that
it's going to lead to a double turn where Chuck comes back. You think he's going to help Orange and ends up siding with Trent. I think that's where down the line we might be going when Chuck is like 110% cleared. Because I'm pretty sure he got partially cleared for the
Yeah, I mean that parking lot brawl, that wasn't gonna do much. Yeah. Like he only it was. I mean when you're injured, like those are like the safest matches you could do. Ironically, because you're not really doing much besides hitting and fucking throwing people into shit.
AEW did a banger tweet with that match. I forgot which one. I'm not sure if it was on their TV account or it was. Oh no. So when Chuck did the Razor's Edge onto the windshield to Trent, AEW on TV tweeted out, the one time we splurge on a rental. Like, come on.
Admin, weird. Anyway, after this, fucking Trent comes out, he's like, yo, what the fuck, dude? I mean, who are you to say this shit? Who are you to deem that Chuck's career's over? He's like, but Orange is having none of this. He immediately charges Trent. They start fighting. They didn't start fighting, excuse me. He starts fighting the security, but the security is backing Orange up. Statlander comes out to come separate this, but out comes Don Callis.
He gets booted in his hometown.
And he's coming out here. He was watching the parking lot brawl. He was seen watching it on Collision, on Rampage. last week, and I was seemingly looking at Trent. But here he whispers something into the ear of Orange Cassidy. He puts his arm around him. He ushers him to the back. Trent goes on the stage and gives a thumbs up. So I don't know what this is about. I think it's gonna. I mean, I think he's gonna. 'Cause obviously, they need another person because of the Hobbs injury.
Yes.
But I think Trent's gonna end up with him. But I think they're gonna try to corrupt Orange Cassidy. So we're gonna see where
Not
this
to
goes
say
because
that,
obviously,
like, it's
obviously, this is fucking
Not-
out of the element for Orange Cassidy.
Yes, like not to say it won't happen because anything in the world of pro wrestling is possible. A heel Orange Cassidy would be very interesting.
I agree. I don't think it's gonna happen yet, personally, but I think it's all just a thing to get Trent in. But yeah, I mean, it's obvious. There's obviously something more to this. I just can't figure it out yet.
This is
but
one that's kind of doesn't have a clear path.
Yeah, it's like we were like shooting ideas for guys who could join the Don Callis. I still think Roosh would be the best option because the guy is just fucking pure violence. And he's a fucking complete fit for Don. But yeah, I mean, this is very thought-provoking angle here. But after this, we had Willow in the back with Statlander and Stokely and Renee and fucking
Stokely.
fucking yeah. So basically, they said Renee got a text. Well, Sky Blue had cut a promo that they were building a match for the Rampage taping Rampage later tonight. But Stokely was standing there. He looked pissed as shit. And Renee got a text, and she got handed a phone. It was from Nick Jackson that said, Statlander and Stokely are banned from ringside, and I think fucking,
LFG. It says
yeah, LFG, yeah. And then but no, it was Sky. It was Sky who called Stokely bald. He's like, I can't even dispute it. Yeah. Fucking basically Nick, he just sent the word in, and then fucking Stokely's pissed off at the Elite. He's like, I hate the Elite, and then he posted a video on Twitter about him going up to the Elite's locker room and posting a sticker that says the Elite are assholes. So that was pretty funny. But after this, we had also Jack Perry interviewed, asking why he did what he did, because the Bucks had. I mean, they say, yeah, go talk to Jack instead. And basically, Jack said, "You asked for it. You stole months of my career." I mean, what? I mean, basically, he was like saying, "We are entering a new era under the Elite." He said everything I said was true. He wants the best for AEW, but you had to go for that. So he's entering a new era under the Elite. So he's full on with the Elite. But yeah. After this, we had the FTW rules match between Chris Jericho and Katsuyori Shibata, and I enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. Because number one, I didn't even realize on commentary, but I did realize it because I've never seen it before. In the in Shibata's 22-year career, this is his first ever no DQ match. That's fucking insane for a wrestler in this modern era. That's insane. But I love this match. Shibata fucking turned Jericho's fucking chest into a goddamn murder scene. It was Jericho's chest. I've never seen somebody's chest that red. It was turning purple. I was like, holy shit. But it was so cool seeing Shibata just out of his... That's my favorite thing about Shibata in AEW. It's like, number one, I never thought he'd be able to wrestle again. And it's already been like a privilege that he has. Oh, yeah. But it's like he's been so out of his element, and everything he's been doing has been great. Like with the promos, with like the robotic voice, the funny comedy shit he's been doing. And now this with the no DQ match. He's never done this before. He's so out of his element, but he's so fucking good that it's like he's been doing this forever. And it's so awesome. He's fucking hitting Jericho with a kendo stick. He gives him one for so it's a fair fight. He's fucking hulking up while he has the goddamn garbage pail on his head. And he's headbutting him, and Jericho's in tights. For the first time since like Wrestle Kingdom in 2018. fucking the Pocky Puck tack spot. That was funny. Jericho threw a hockey puck at fucking Shibata's face.
Losing it.
And it busted Shibata's nose up. But this match was so much fun. But Shibata ended up setting up a table, and then here comes Big Bill. Big Bill gives him a big ass choke slam through the table. Jericho pinned Shibata 1, 2, 3. I mean, obviously Shibata was never going to win this match, but I'm glad it was under nefarious means because Shibata had most of this match.
Yeah.
He got most of the big spots in this match. But Jericho, he's like waving, he's smiling at everybody. He's like, I mean, I know people hate Jericho, but the 180 of Jericho within the last 2 weeks needs to be studied. And I've always said this about Jericho. I have said this because Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And I think he's one of the smartest wrestlers that's ever lived. He knows when it's time to reinvent himself. Obviously, people were fucking tired of the shit he was doing. They didn't want to see him no more. He was getting go-away heat. And what happened? He reinvented himself. He's interesting again. He's doing great shit.
Yeah.
He's fucking literally this learning tree is so self-aware to the point where it's so good. He's fucking smiling. And we're gonna talk about the promo later, but he's smiling, he's saying, he's like, everybody loves me. The crowd is cheering me on. Everything is great. Everybody is elevated when they're with me. It's so self-aware that it's so good. And it's like, this is exactly what they needed to do. And now Jericho's interesting again. You shut those people up who don't give a fuck about him. And it's like we're back. Like,
yeah.
It's really, that's where all he needed to do is reinvent himself again for the 18 millionth time in his career, which he's probably the greatest of all time at doing.
Then,
yeah, but after this, we had Claudio Castagnoli versus Brian Cage. Very, very good hoss fight.
I think this was supposed to be. I think I'm going to assume that Powerhouse Hobbs was supposed to versus Claudio, and then due to injury, they probably pivoted to Brian.
I don't necessarily think so because
think?
I don't
because
necessarily
of
think so
the,
because
Don Callis family doing stuff with Blackpool Combat Club, kind of.
I mean maybe I don't necessarily think so because like Mox is not going to be around for that. I think they could have probably done it. It wouldn't have made any difference. I don't think they would have done it because I mean they have. This just felt like to me because obviously they're building up Claudio. I don't think it was going to be Hobbs anyway because I don't think they would want to have Hobbs losing twice, like that, back-to-back weeks.
Well, no,
I don't think that would have been smart.
Like because this match, out of every other match on this card, felt the most out of place. I think maybe.
I disagree.
That's just me though, who sees it. It felt awkward because
I disagree because they're obviously doing something with Claudio.
Well, I'm not saying like Hobbs would have lost the match. Maybe Hobbs would have won off a nefarious means. And to keep Claudio still safe.
I just disagree because of the promo they shot on Claudio's entrance. So number one, Claudio on Collision, he answered Swerve's open challenge for the AEW Championship, and they had an excellent match. They had a great match. So it was very, very well worth your time watching if anybody missed it. But they cut up, and while Claudio was making his entrance, they did a promo with him leaving Daily's place and talking about how he needs to be the wrestler that he needs to be instead of what people want him to be. So with that story in mind, I really thought this was just a match to elevate Claudio because I think with Mox being main focus being New Japan right now, Brian selling the injury angle, Yuta legitimately hurt. He's the only member of the Blackpool Combat Club right now that's active. Like in just strictly AEW. So what this to me, I always felt is okay. They're just giving Claudio a tune-up match and just getting him on TV because they're going to do something with Claudio very soon. And what I think that is, I think it's going to end up being Claudio and Okada at the pay-per-view for the Continental Championship. That's where I think this is headed. That's what that's where I think we're at right now. Claudio and Okada for the Continental Championship. Claudio loses nothing, losing to Okada.
Yeah.
And that's a fucking hell of a match. And that's never happened before besides them being in a 6-man tag. But yeah, that's the way I saw it, and I hope that's the case because that would be fucking crazy. But yeah, these two had a good match. Claudio wins by sharpshooter, and yeah, that's what I think they're going with Claudio. Just to get him more on TV. After this, Renee interviewed Rocky Romero, and Rocky was basically asked about the Trent Chuck Orange Cassidy situation. He said, "Listen, I'm staying out of it. I want to go wrestle Kyle tonight on Rampage," and that's what he did. She also interviewed. Well, this was after, but I'll just talk about it now. She also interviewed Adam Copeland, and asking him if he was okay after what happened out there, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then Kyle O'Reilly walked up and basically said, "If you ever need backup, just tell me the word." So they're probably gonna end up doing a buffer tag team match before the pay per view with Copeland and Kyle O'Reilly versus Dallas Black. You're muted.
I was far away.
Yeah.
Probably the go home show.
Yeah. But yeah, Copeland. They're selling this thing where Copeland is like acting uneasy, and after he got misted. But anyway, we had Serena Deeb versus Mariah May, accompanied by Luther and Tony Storm.
Something I was gonna type in chat, but I didn't want to do spoilers for Mike. Is it has Mariah May now transferred to Tony Storm's like outcast gimmick colors?
I mean, she just had different. I don't really look into that. She just had different gear.
Because I'm seeing it as she's gonna go through Tony's stages, then say at All In is when she does her own timeless version.
I mean, she could. I don't think I would do that personally.
I
original because Mariah's already been great, and that's the thing about Mariah too. She's not acting like Tony, barring doing a couple of her moves, using the music, and doing this on the entrance. But I think that obviously the story is like very inspired by All About Eve, that movie, and that's exactly what happens. What you just said in the movie.
Well, she kind of goes through the stages of that.
Well, not even stages. Like she's an understudy of the main actress, but the basically whole plot is to overtake her and steal her spotlight at the end of the day, as the new bright young star, which I think she will. But I don't think she needs to do that. Be like Tony's timeless gimmick to do that, because then it would just be like you'd have two of the same character. And it's like, I don't think you want to do that. I think Mariah should be Mariah. Because even think about when you when you get there, say hypothetically when you get there and they do that, it's like you have two of the same gimmick. Then who goes where?
True.
Like, is somebody stop being timeless? Like does Tony have to go back to being her old gimmick, and then basically Mariah takes her gimmick, or the other way around? It's like, I don't think I would do. I just keep Mariah, and just go back to like what she was doing beforehand. But this was a very, very good match. Obviously, it's Mariah and Serena, two of the better women's workers on the roster. Obviously, Mariah was never going to win this match because Serena
needs the win.
Serena needs the win, and she's obviously was the one that's going to be wrestling Tony at the pay-per-view. But it's what's it called? It's like I think she will end up wrestling Tony, that Mariah, that is at least at all in or all out.
I need this shirt.
Which one?
The new one that just dropped for Tekken 8 X AEW.
Oh, the Kenny King one.
I need that shirt.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, that shit is sick.
Ooh,
I just bought a Scapegoat shirt. So
did you
so,
get the one off of his site or off of Pro Wrestling?
His site. Okay. The one with the Japanese flag, and it's him doing that. But back to Mariah and Serena here. Serena obviously was going to be wrestling Tony at the pay-per-view. But I really liked how they worked this match. They had a great hard-hitting match. The end of the match where Mariah was getting her knee slammed into the canvas with Serena's Serenity Lock. I love the finish because Mariah really, I mean, she's lost, but she really hasn't been pinned or submitted all that much. It's maybe been like once or twice.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have the quote of the century. Stokely Hathaway describes Willow Nightingale. She is like if Mick Foley was a Teletubby.
The fuck does that even mean?
I don't know.
What the fuck? See, I can't even process that one. That one's great. That's a great line right there.
It's like, what the fuck?
I guess so. I guess.
I'll post the clip in the group chat.
I guess so.
Oh my god, that
shit, Stokely.
That
I mean,
legit popped me.
Maybe.
I'm just scrolling through Twitter, and Drainmaker drops the quote because like it came from it was just Statlander and him talking about the match, like the match had just happened, and just the way he describes her is if Mick Foley was a Teletubby.
I guess so. I mean, I guess.
Sure, dude.
But fucking but anyway.
T-shirt now.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, they need. I mean, I don't know how fucking big the Teletubbies likeness is, but
I'll do some research real quick.
Don't even bother to Google that. We don't know. Fucking. But Tony, she sees Mariah in great distress here, and she throws in the towel for Mariah May. The match is called off. Mariah is not pinned or submitted, but she throws in the towel for Mariah May. And it's confirmed that Serena Deeb will be taking on Toni Storm at Double or Nothing. But this is something very, very intentional, and you have to remember this because Toni, throwing in the towel for Mariah, she wasn't pinned or submitted, and this match was to be who is the number one contender to Toni Storm. So if Mariah won this match, she would have been the number one contender, and she would have been wrestling Toni at Double or Nothing. So that was very intentional that Toni threw in the towels because she doesn't want to wrestle Mariah at Double or Nothing. Or at all.
They could license the Teletubbies for a very short term deal. So for like a limited release T-shirt, they could do that.
And I think they should leave that shit alone. I don't know if you want to be fucking around with the deathmatch Teletubbies. That might become an epidemic. I might fuck around and cause something with that. But yeah, that was the women's segment.
Are in the public domain.
How the fuck does that work?
Because PBS.
They've been around for 100 years.
Because
PBS. Public Broadcasting Station System, whatever.
Which is public domain.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! It could happen.
Maybe. Or maybe make men of the fucking Street Fighter shirts with Willow and fucking the Teletubby on it. But anyway, we talked about the previous segments, but here comes the main event segment of the night. We had Justin Roberts out there introducing Winnipeg's own North Carolina, fucking
from North Carolina,
Winnipeg's golden boy, Kenny Omega. He has returned to AEW, my goat. Here comes Kenny out here in a suit. He looked like the cleaner. I saw the shades. I was like, oh. But here comes Kenny. He talks about how he was diagnosed with diverticulitis, how he could either be cut up the seam, and given a colostomy bag, maybe, or not get the surgery and be living with a ticking time bomb for the rest of his life. And that could burst any time, because he almost died. He was 24 hours away from death, which is very, very, very fucking scary.
I think ticking time bomb is a very small, very, very small over-exaggeration with what we saw tonight.
Well, yeah, obviously that was playing into the thing, but it is also a very real thing. If he takes a lot, like a very, like obviously the chair thing he took right now is obviously very
the wrong way.
But no, I'm not even saying, but it's saying like any blunt force trauma to. I'm talking about blunt force trauma, which is very hard to do. Obviously, the thing he got tonight obviously was very protected.
Well, it's like,
and
well,
stuff
I'm
like
saying,
that.
like, if there's a
That-
stray knee,
that could-
that happens.
Well, anything. If he falls if he trips and falls in his house the wrong way, something could fucking happen. But if that could fuck him up for life. Obviously, Brock Lesnar suffered the same thing when he was in the UFC, and then he carried into WWE. I don't know if I believe he did get the surgery. He didn't need a colostomy bag. So Kenny, he did say bag or no bag, I'm gonna find a way, even if it's 1% chance to come back. And you're not through me yet. And I believe him. I mean, he's the GOAT for a reason. But I think he's gonna end up being okay. This whole angle, obviously, even last week when they promoted, all right, they're gonna kill him, and then he's gonna go get a surgery, and we're gonna see from there. But before the segment ended, after he cut his promo, what happened? The coin dropped, and here comes Kazuchika Okada, and I almost fucking wet myself because
Then he had the 1,000-yard stare.
Because a lot of WWE fans, they see like their Rock, their Cena, like they're Rock and John Cena, they're Stone Cold, and the Rock, they're fucking
CM
Austin
Punk
and
and Cena.
McMahon. Yeah, this is my shit here. This is my Rock and fucking Cena. This is my Rock and Austin. It's Omega Okada. That's what fucking made me fall in love with pro wrestling. So for the first time ever in an AEW ring in a couple of years, we had Kazuchika Okada face to face with Kenny Omega. And Kenny basically says, listen, when I come back, you want to do this again in an AEW ring? And Okada's like, he's like, Kenny, I am now the new best mount machine. And he looks him dead in the face, and Kenny, he's like staring him down, but he gets fucking jumped by Jack Perry. Here's Jack Perry jumping this son of a bitch, jumping fucking Kenny Omega. Okada's laughing, he's walking over. Jack gets Okada gets a chair for Jack. Jack nails Kenny right in the stomach with the fucking with the chair.
Kenny did get like Jack in the eye at one point.
He did. He hit him with a couple knees that actually did give Jack like a shiner. The Bucks come out, they're like, hey, what the hell? This is too far. This is the same shit they did last week. They're full of shit. They come back, they're like, hey, what? These guys are fucking assholes. They're like, yo, but Kenny is trying to like help get himself up with the Bucks. Fucking, the Bucks give him the EVP trigger, and they lay out Kenny. They kill Kenny. Oh my god, they kill Kenny, you bastards.
Then Kenny gets taken out. Oh yeah,
Okada's he has him in position. He's picking him up to hit him with the Rainmaker. But here comes FTR to come make the save. They run him off. They put Kenny on a stretcher. Kenny's convulsing. He's really selling his stomach. FTR's at his side. They go to the back. They're in the back now. Kenny's about to be loaded into the ambulance, but then they get attacked. FTR and the doctors get attacked by the Elite. And then Jack goes over and he says, and he's basically talking shit to Kenny. Matt comes over. He's like, Kenny, I love you to death. But I'm sorry this had to happen. I love you to death. But this is what had to be done. And these motherfuckers tip over the goddamn gurney while he's strapped in it. They start. Jack spits on him, and they lay everybody out and they leave. These sons of bitches. These motherfucking rap motherfuckers.
Bold.
They hurt my boy Kenny. So Kenny's gonna be gone for a while, and now he's gonna go get a surgery. So get well soon, Kenny. I love you.
Bold prediction for.
And that's how Dynamite went off the air, by the way, and started into Rampage.
If they do a very, very late Blood and Guts like that, if they don't do a Blood and Guts like this year,
he is not making Blood and Guts.
No, I'm saying if they don't do one this year, they do one say next year.
They're not. They are doing one this year.
I'm trying to think on like so. Say for next year,
it's already set up. This year's it's already set. You can't even think of this. Might not even be a thing next year. You can't even think about that yet.
I'm trying because what I would do is the quote unquote Carolina boys. You got FTR, Hangman, and Kenny versus the New Elite. That would be
I mean, it's obviously. I think the Elite's gonna last into next year, but I don't know if they're gonna like. I mean, it's way too early to be predicting stuff like that.
I said, like, given the circumstances we're in, I don't see that idea. I do see the Elite being involved in Blood and Guts this year.
I think it's already. I think the team's already set up. I mean, you have Kenny, not Kenny, excuse me. You have Okada, the Young Bucks, and Jack, and then you have FTR, Daniel Garcia, and Pac, which they were all fucked over by the Elite, because obviously Pac, because the go home to Dynasty, they already kind of teased it, because they had 4. It was Pac, Garcia, and FTR in the ring, running off the Bucks and Okada before Jack came back. But obviously, and Garcia's been tweeting about this shit, like about the Elite. He's been making like these sly tweets every time the Elite do something, and obviously he's linked up with FTR.
Yeah.
So there's 3 right there, and Pac is right there. Pac obviously has unfinished business.
Pac is a maybe, and
Pac is a maybe too. They don't have to do Pac, but like Pac can easily be subbed out.
Yes.
For somebody else.
Hangman.
No.
Well, they kicked him out of. Well, they suspended him from the Elite.
They suspended him, but it's like, bro, they got to bring Hangman back as a heel. There's no way they should bring him. He should not be anything other than a heel when he comes back. He did that gimmick, that fucking psycho Hangman gimmick, it was so short of a time frame, but it was so good. They had money in that. They can't go away from that soon. I mean, it would make sense, but I just don't think they should go away from it that soon. But I think Pac would be the best bet right now, because he's just the most. He's the one that makes the most sense. But yeah.
No, it's time to get Shad Khan. He's the 4th member.
Listen, Shad Khan versus fucking Okada in the Tokyo Dome.
Have you seen, like,
I'm just saying.
Everyone,
I'm just saying.
Every clip I've seen of people talk about the Shad Khan, like the angry stare, they're like, yeah, I have friends who have Middle Eastern parents, or I have Middle Eastern parents, and I've seen that stare before. That stare means you are fucked. The high hell.
But yeah, I believe that's what it's gonna end up being.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how Dynamite went off the air. That's how Rampage went in the air. Just going quickly over Rampage. Jay White versus Dante, very, very good match. Jay White wins. Roosh cuts a great promo. Deanna cuts a great promo about Thunder Rosa, and Deanna's basically a heel now, which is, I was very happy that she turned heel, because Deanna's 10 times better as a heel than a babyface. She was unbelievable in TNA as a heel. Kyle and Roddy had a great match.
It was Rocky. You said Rocky.
Oh, Rocky, excuse me. Rocky and Kyle had a great match. Kyle won. Swerve.
It was a roll up, and Rocky looked a little bit upset. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, Swerve cut a great promo after getting one of his dreadlocks ripped out by Killswitch. Talking about how he's going to bring back up next week, which is probably the Mobile Embassy, because he hasn't really associated with him.
Comes back.
Yeah, well, he's been fine. Even in the build up to the title match, he never had the Mobile Embassy with him, so they're probably just going to come back and be reestablished as his forces.
Bring back Trench.
No, you got Leon and Khan and Cage for a
Trench,
reason.
Man.
Trench is, Trench is
name ever.
Trench is a fucking trivia question when it comes to AEW. He's up there with Mel. Like that, if you're a real fucking AEW motherfucker, you're gonna know who Mel and Trench are. All right.
Also, Marco Stunt too.
No, Marco Stunt's not. Marco Stunt was on TV for a long time. Marco Stunt was actually
Pineapple Pete.
Not even that. Pineapple Pete was involved, bro. Fucking Mel and Trench were there. They were barely ever acknowledged, and they were gone. Like Shug D and Pineapple, at least he was a fixture on the Indies in Chikara for years. At least people who knew who Marco Stunt was from the Indies, and he was actually in a successful tag team, and he was in programs with guys, and he was actually jobbing on a regular basis. Mel and Trench, it's like if you blinked and you fucking missed them. It's gone with them. Like a turd in the wind.
Could Jeeves also be a part of that conversation as well?
No, because he was never on TV.
He was on Dark.
Yeah, that's not TV. Trench and Mel were on fucking Dynamite. They were on Dynamite.
Mel was on one episode of Dynamite. Trench was on
No,
like
she was
4.
on like 3. No, Mel was on like 3. Because there was the one she got her head shaved, and then she was like walking to the ring with him. Then she had like a fucking match, and that was it. But yeah, Mel and Trench. Those are the trivia questions. Those are the only ones I can fucking remember right now. That was that fucking like that like that fucking. I mean,
You could also do the name
archaic.
of the group that Mel was in, the fucking Nightmare Collective.
No, because I remember that very well, and I don't need. I would not like to remember that. Thanks,
What
Brandy.
are you talking
But
about?
but anyway,
that gave us a Luther, and I'll
Jericho.
forever be grateful.
Well, that's not true. Jericho actually gave us Luther. So you need to be thankful to your learning tree.
But fuck you. But like Brandy put him in the spot, and then
Brandy didn't put him in the spot. Creative put him in the spot.
And then he teams with Serpentico.
But anyway, Chris Jericho. Big Bill is being interviewed by Renee, and he wants to be a part of the learning tree. And Jericho is saying, "Hey, you did it, man. You're gonna be part of my learning tree." The whole crowd was cheering for me. They love me, dude. It's so great.
Jericho's chest still looked like chopped meat.
Yeah, Arkady, which is the new backstage girl. She was talking to Harley Cameron and Saraya. They were calling out Tony Storm, so it looks like Saraya is going to wrestle Tony probably on Dynamite Collision. And she said, "Don't tell us to have our tits out. We already had that covered." There was that, and then we had the fucking Manitoba Massacre. Actually, before that, we had Roddy basically talking shit on Ospreay. And then we had the Manitoba Massacre between Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue from the TBS Championship. This is a great match. I love the Fisherman Buster spot from the top rope onto the tacks, and I love the Babe with the powerbomb finish into the table with the barbed wire on it. And
Actually,
I thought that was great.
According to people in the crowd, it took them several minutes to get her out of that barbed wire.
Obviously it's gonna take longer for women because their hair is all fucking tangled in the goddamn barbed wire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty good Rampage. I thought it was a pretty good Dynamite. Good stuff here tonight. Shit progressed.
100%. For Wrestler of the Week, I'm not going to give it to Kenny because it's too much of an obvious thing. Because I saw that she has a new shirt, I'm going to give it to Mariah May. I kind of wish that the shirt was designed a little bit differently, but it's still a good shirt nonetheless. Christian?
Okay. Well, for this week, I guess. This week I'll give it to Sky Blue. Took a lot of hard bumps tonight, and she was very, very good in that Manitoba Massacre.
All right, guys. We appreciate you all for watching. We'll catch you next week. And yeah, there's nothing else really to do. Goodbye.